This is a short video to talk to you about the Nikon D5200 DSLR camera. It has a single lens on the front here, has a lens cap, it has two monitors. This is the viewfinder, the best quality to look through here, and it has a flip out monitor as well, which you can twist and move it around. It will be, I recommend you use it very gently. You do not go beyond its limits because you will damage it and break it. Whenever you do take out a camera and it's not on a tripod, do make sure that you wear the camera straps that are provided with each camera for safety. Keep it around your neck at all times. Let's first off starting by talking about how to turn the camera on. So just here, where your hand will naturally sit holding the camera, you have a whole load of dials here. We won't go into each and every one of them. You don't need to know it, just in the basic instructions of how to use this. But the first thing you do need to know is on the top here by the silver is the on-off switch. Switching it straight over to on, you don't hear any loud clonking or thudding of noises. It just comes on. Would at this point remind you that all of these cameras come with lens caps on there. They must be returned with the lens cap. So put it somewhere safe whenever you are taking pictures. So we'll just take it off for now. We've got the camera on. As we're looking at the lens right now, I'll point out that this lens is a zoom lens. It allows us to go from the number 18, which is wide, to the number 55, which brings you in closer to a subject. Okay, so it goes from really wide to coming in closer to a subject. And you can see that as the lens protrudes in and out. Okay, the lens also has a very handy button just here, which says A and M. This is referring to the camera's focusing. A refers to the camera focusing automatically. Okay, so make sure it's left on there most of the time to start with until you're used to it. If you flip it over onto manual, on the very front here, allows you to manually focus yourself. But to start off with, make sure it's on A. Okay, so taking a picture is very easy. All you need to do now is to press the shutter release, which is the big silver button just here. We push it just once. Because it's on auto, it just takes a picture. Another one. And you'll see just there that there is a light coming on. This assists the camera in low light situations to get the focusing correct, because we're on the AF at the moment. So that's taking a picture just like that. I strongly recommend that you use the actual viewfinder. This gives you the most clearest image quality looking through here. It is perfect to use when you're in very bright sunny conditions. If you want to use that one here, there's a dial just here, and then just below that it says LV and an arrow down. If you flip that button just there, and allow you to view from here as well. Okay, don't know if you can see that just now, but that's showing us from the camera. Yeah, my hand's just flying there and there. There you go. Okay, I'm going to briefly talk about what you see on the back of your LCD monitor when you are taking pictures. Just click on it now. You will see a lot of symbols down here. These are all grayed out, as you can see at the moment. Can't keep this on, sorry. These are all grayed out at the moment. They are all things that you can change the quality, the position of focusing and everything like that. This is the shutter speed indicator. It's showing us, I can change it as we go, what shutter I am using at the time. The shutter is this noise you hear. And again, that is a shutter inside the camera which opens and closes very rapidly and allows you to take a picture, and it puts light onto the camera's sensor. Okay. Next to that is what's called the aperture. Well, this is for other videos, but the aperture is a number of blades built into the lens which open and close depending on how small or large that number is just there. Next to that is the ISO. ISO, basically the higher the number, the lower the quality in your photographs. So one tries to keep that number as low as possible to get the best quality pictures you possibly can. At the very top here, on the camera control dial, this is the main one to be aware of. It has an awful lot on here. To start with, I recommend you leave it on the green one, which says auto, all right? This means that the camera will do everything automatically for you and you don't have to worry about anything. It will focus for you. It will work out the ISO, the exposure, meaning the shutter, and the aperture. Okay, so you can just leave it on that one, it'll do everything for you. I really want to point that one out because it's quite easy to accidentally knock it. Could fall into one of the many other choices just there. So to start with, I strongly recommend you just keep it on auto until you get a little bit more used to it. I'll just go through a few of these other ones just here. So full auto does everything for you. Program is pretty much the same as auto. It does a little bit more, but we won't need to worry about that one. S is for shutter, shutter priority, which is a very good way if you wanted to take sports photographs and you wanted to adjust that number just there, which is the shutter dial number. The higher that number is, the less blurry the image is if you were to be taking one of the sports event or anything like that. So that's very useful just there. Then we flip it over onto the A letter just here, and this is aperture priority, which is just there, that aperture that we talked about earlier. Yeah. Now that allows us to adjust the aperture specifically, and as we adjust the aperture, you'll be able to see there, I hope, that the shutter adjusts automatically to marry up with the correct aperture that you're selecting there as well. Okay. And now next to that one is the M. This is manual. This is you taking complete control and you can adjust the shutter or the aperture all by yourself, okay? But we'll leave those for now. I'd prefer you to start off with automatic or program to get started with. Now if you wish to change the camera's autofocus area, it has two different settings. One where it's a wide area, principally the whole of the actual image that you are looking through the camera, or you can tell it to go for a very specific area, almost a spot area that you wish to change. So let's just say I want to change that one. When I click onto there, we can see that the camera at the moment is set up just here. You can see above, it's set up for the spot focus virtually. Yeah. So if I want to change that, we press the information button. I was there earlier on, so it's gone to the autofocus. Press OK, and then we can see that the camera, as I said, was at single point spot focus. I can change that to the wide autofocus area, which, as you can see from the images there, is most of everything within sight. So anything within that area, it will endeavor to focus on. So if it's the nearer object, it will probably focus on that area just there. Now, if I flip over to the live mode, you'll be able to see a little bit clearer rather than seeing through here. If I showed you through there, you wouldn't quite be able to see what areas it's focusing on. If you're looking through there, it would have these little red squares indicating that's what it's focusing on. But I'm going to use the live mode just to show you that I can change the position of a spot focus. And as you can see at the moment, there is a little green one just there, indicating that it's in focus on that area just there. I can move that around and reposition it. If I keep my finger down, it will move very quickly. If I keep my finger and I just move it a little bit, it'll move to left and right. So this is fantastically useful to move your autofocus points if you're using the selective one, the spot focus, just there. Okay. In order to use the camera to take videos, put it onto the LV and then press the red button just here. Push it in once and then the camera immediately starts recording. The viewfinder shows that it's flashing red and it's recording. If you wish to play back any photographs or videos that you've taken, all you have to do is to press on the playback button just here where my thumb is, click on it once, and it'll open up what photographs, which these are of course the best on the planet, what photographs or videos you've taken, and you can go through them all and look through them by clicking left or right and reviewing them. Whilst reviewing them, you may look through and decide, actually, I don't like any of them, and you think, oh, that's terrible. You go down to here where there's a waste bin, just the same as we have on some computers. You click onto that once and it says, do you wish to delete? And you say, yes, I'd like to delete that one. And then it deletes it. Would you like to delete this one? Yeah, I'm going to delete that one too. And so forth. So you can go through and edit out any photographs that you think you don't want at all anymore, and you can just delete them. Next, I would like to talk to you about the battery compartment. Now, I've taken it off the tripod because it's easier to show you this way. If I just turn it over just now, you'll see just in the corner just here that there is a battery compartment and a little switch. If I flip the switch just once, you'll see that it opens up and it reveals, in this case, an orange battery. We have several different colors, so it doesn't really matter. At the very top there is a little orange securing device. You just push that one up, then you'll find that the battery pushes itself out. I'm doing it at a funny angle here. It pushes itself out, and then you can just take out the battery and then change it as and when you need to. When you get yourself a new battery, make sure that you put it back in the correct way. If you force it in, you will find you will damage the camera or the battery. It will not go in the camera the wrong way. So be patient. Make sure that you have the relevant contact points, which are just at the top there, locating in and clonk it in. And as you can see, it just literally just goes in nice and smooth, and then close it, and then that's locked. And it's ready to rock and roll. I just briefly wanted to talk about the camera having what's called an SD card. This is what all your images are recorded to. Now, just on the side here, you'll see that there's an arrow and there's some grooves, and it says open. If you push that once, it'll flip open there and show us the inside. And just in there, there is an SD card. You only have to push onto it, and then the SD card slightly pops out, and then we can remove it, just like that. Whenever we want to put the SD card back in, we've got to make sure we do it so that the picture of SD is facing towards us. If we were to do it the wrong way around like this, and this is only as an example, it would go in a little bit and then it will just jam. If you try to force that in there, you will actually damage the SD card and possibly also damage the camera. So that would be a very expensive mistake to do. So make sure you put it in that way around, and it will slide in nicely, and then it clicks in perfectly, and then you can close the lid. Okay? Now, one thing I want to point out with our SD cards is they have a lock on here. Let's see, that's in shot, that's in shot. There's a lock just here, which can be knocked by accident or done on purpose. And if you push it down, that means that the SD card will not be able to write on. You won't be able to take any pictures with this SD card with it down. So just make sure that that is pushed up with your little finger just like that. It clicks nicely, and then you can locate it back in just so.